Our moment of the week brought to you by Omen by HP comes to us, of course, the Overwatch League Playoffs 2019. Here to break it all down is Darin, Kwilinski, and let's start with NYXL. Did they not get the memo, Darin, that this is the playoffs and they should be performing poorly in said playoffs like they have in the past? Instead, they send the Season 1 champs and the early favorites in the playoffs, London and Atlanta respectively, to the losers bracket. What's going on here?
Well, I think sending London back to the losers bracket at this point isn't super surprising. London hasn't been as dominant as they were last year. So it doesn't surprise me that if NYXL was going to win, they were going to win against London. The Atlanta match does surprise me a little bit. But first, I guess let's welcome everyone to the meta of Sigma and Doomfist, also known as the meta of shields, because Orisa is picked with Sigma all the time, and people are utilizing those shields to set up their plays and their ganks and their flanks and all that kind of good stuff. And NYXL did that a lot. Sigma's been played 92.4% of these games since he's come out. Even though the NYXL 1-4-2, the scoreline isn't really representative of how close this match actually was. Way more competitive than the London match. Shout out to Baby Bay's Reaper. He helped Atlanta really set up a lot of really great plays. But then you go to Sabielby's Reaper and his Bastion. They were equally effective. Specifically, Libero and Sabielby were used throughout the entire match of Atlanta, which I think the consistency that NYXL showed in that match was really, really impressive. And they even used Libero and Sabielby in London, most of it. Flower was in there for 2 maps. So when push came to shove, NYXL was a much better team in both cases. Here's an example. London gets 3 points on Numbani. Yeah. NYXL strikes back to 3 points of their own with 4 minutes and 5 seconds left in the bank. Right. London gets both points on Anubis. NYXL gets it even faster. And that was kind of the trend that you saw with NYXL
and
this
usually
weekend.
When they were in that situation in the past, especially in the playoffs, they would cave under the pressure. Yep. But in this situation, they just seem to be able to absorb it and exceed and excel.
Yeah, they struck back. They didn't get down. They stayed consistent. And I really do think that part of that was the consistency in their DPS line.
Right. So NYXL did in fact hand Atlanta their first loss in the Overwatch League since Stage 3, Week 3. A very long stretch, an impressive run. Atlanta not out of it yet. We'll get to the losers bracket in a little bit, but let's talk about the other side of the equation in the winners bracket. It will be number 1 taking on number 2. Vancouver Titans with impressive victories, and they will be facing NYXL. They defeated Seoul and the Los Angeles Gladiators to get there. What impressed you? In particular, Haxall, he seems to be on a playoff MVP pace.
I totally agree with that. I think Haxall is a big reason why Vancouver is doing very well. I mean, you can't overlook Suminsu. If it's not Haxall, it's Suminsu making big plays. But Haxall was one of the big reasons why the Vancouver took over Lijiang Tower over Seoul. Was he just had individually great plays. I think when you look at Vancouver, they have that dual DPS threat, but their Sigma Doomfist combo is not as strong as NYXL's Sigma Doomfist combo. They showed some weakness, Vancouver did, on Horizon Lunar Colony. They got smashed by Fitz and Marvel's Doomfist Sigma combo. It was pretty disgusting to see. I think overall NYXL will take this match based on their consistency, that they're the momentum that they have right now is very, very strong. Let me quick cite Vancouver's map losses for you. Were Kings Row, Rialto, Horizon, and Numbani. Those were the 4 map losses they had. NYXL won on Kings Row, Rialto, and Numbani twice. I think they just have that stronger.
So the matchup favors NYXL.
Exactly. So I think NYXL, you would be safe by saying, hey, they got a good shot.
And how many people predicted NYXL would make it all the way to the grand finals?
Not me. This is
I don't think anybody did. There's very few people that might have said NYXL would be one of the teams. The 2 teams that many people were predicting are on a collision course in the losers bracket, San Francisco and Atlanta. One of those 2 teams will not, if not both, one of those 2 teams at least will not make it to the grand finals. They, like I said, will have to face different teams and defeat them en route to facing each other in a rematch. Atlanta sent San Francisco down to the losers bracket, but they might meet again. What do you make of that matchup?
I mean, I really want to see that match again. That came down to the wire. It was a mistake on San Francisco Shock's part. They weren't on the cart in the final map, and it was an intense match. It was one of the best matches in recent memory for Overwatch League, and that would be a premier matchup that would create a great storyline leading into the grand finals. I really think that San Fran will beat the LA Gladiators. It was 3-2 Gladiators last time, but that was way back in February before the 2-2 lock was even mentioned or in anyone's mind. We have a different meta now, and we have a totally different coalescence of the teams and how they understand each other and how they want to play. So I think San Fran beats the Gladiators. The Spark and the Reign, I mean, Atlanta beat them 3-1 last time as well. That was a little bit farther back, but I think the Reign are still a better team right now. Specifically, Dogman and Baby Bay keep showing up with some big plays.
Well, these playoffs have been spectacular, and they continue to roll on, have been good enough to be our Moment of the Week, brought to you by Omen by HP. Don't forget, continued esports coverage available here at ESPN.com/esports.